The shadow at the end of the street. Every town has its stories, urban legends that are passed down from generation to generation. In our small town, the tale of the shadow at the end of the street was a horrifyingly unique one. The legend began with the construction of a house at the end of Maple Street. The house was grand and beautiful, but from the day the first brick was laid, strange occurrences began. Workers reported tools disappearing and mysterious whispers echoing around the construction site. Despite the eerie happenings, the house was eventually completed. The first family to move into the house was the Johnsons, a young couple with 2 children. Everything seemed fine at first, however, the happiness was short-lived. The family started to notice things, odd shadows that didn't belong, cold spots in the house. Their youngest child, Lucy, began to talk about her new friend who lived in the shadows. Then, one chilling night, the family woke up to Lucy's screams. They found her room empty. She was never seen again. The Johnsons moved out and the house remained vacant for years. But the odd occurrences didn't stop. People passing by the house reported seeing a shadowy figure standing by the window. Some heard a child's laughter echoing from the house. The house earned a nefarious reputation, and everyone in the town began to avoid Maple Street once the sun set. They called it the shadow at the end of the street. One night, a group of teenagers, fueled by curiosity and bravado, decided to explore the house. They walked down the eerily quiet Maple Street, their flashlights barely piercing the thick darkness. The house loomed ominously at the end of the street. As they ventured into the house, a bone-chilling wind blew, making the old house creak. They explored room after room, their hearts pounding in their chests. Finally, they entered what appeared to be Lucy's room. It was unsettlingly pristine, as though waiting for its occupant to return. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, plunging them into pitch darkness. They heard a soft giggle, eerily similar to a child's. A cold breath whispered into their ears. "Want to play?" Panic ensued, and they scrambled for the door, but it wouldn't budge. The giggles became louder, morphing into a terrifying laughter. Just as abruptly, the door flung open. They ran out of the house, their screams merging with the laughter that followed them. When they reached the safety of their homes, they realized one of their friends was missing. Like Lucy, he was never seen again. From then on, no one dared to approach the house at the end of Maple Street. It stood there, a chilling reminder of the horrors it housed. The shadow at the end of the street continued to haunt the town, a horror story that was more than just a tale. It was a terrifying reality. In a small town surrounded by dense forests, there lived a family of 4, John, Sarah, and their 2 young children, Emily and Michael. They had recently moved to the town in search of a peaceful life away from the chaos of the city. The family settled into an old Victorian house on the outskirts of town. The house had a mysterious aura about it, with creaking floorboards and flickering lights that added to its eerie atmosphere. However, the family dismissed these peculiarities as mere quirks of an old house. As weeks passed, strange occurrences began to unfold. Late at night, they would hear faint whispers echoing through the halls, and the children complained of seeing shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their rooms. Objects would mysteriously move from one place to another, and the family's beloved pet cat, Whiskers, would hiss and arch its back at unseen entities. John, being a skeptical man, attributed these happenings to overactive imaginations and attempted to dismiss their fears. But as the events escalated, even he couldn't ignore the mounting evidence that something supernatural was at play. One stormy night, when the wind howled and rain battered against the windows, the family woke up to find themselves trapped inside their own home. The doors and windows were sealed shut as if held by an invisible force. Panic filled their hearts as they realized they were not alone. Whispers grew louder and chilling laughter echoed through the house. The family huddled together in the living room, clutching each other tightly, seeking solace in their unity. Suddenly, an otherworldly voice boomed from the darkness, promising a fate worse than death for trespassing on its domain. As the night wore on, the house seemed to come alive. The walls pulsated, and the family felt a malevolent presence closing in on them. They desperately searched for a way out, but every attempt was thwarted by supernatural forces. Shadows danced and twisted, assuming grotesque forms, and the air grew heavy with an unexplainable dread. Just when all hope seemed lost, a ray of light broke through the stormy sky, casting a beam of illumination on a dusty bookshelf. Sarah's eyes fell upon a journal, its pages yellowed with age. Desperate for a solution, she opened it, hoping to find a clue. The journal contained the chronicles of a previous owner, a man who had delved into the occult. It detailed rituals and incantations that could summon and control dark forces. Sarah realized that the only way to break free from the clutches of the supernatural entity was to perform a counter-ritual to banish it. With trembling hands, she gathered the necessary items: a vial of blessed water, a lock of hair, and a handful of dried herbs. The family huddled together once more, reciting the incantation with unwavering resolve. The air crackled with energy, and an intense light enveloped the room. When the light faded, the family found themselves outside their once dreaded home, free from the clutches of the malevolent entity. The house stood silent and still, as if its dark secret had been vanquished. The family moved away from the town, seeking a fresh start in a new place, forever carrying the memories of their terrifying ordeal. They learned that sometimes the line between the living and the supernatural can blur. The haunting melody. Late at night, when the world is wrapped in a hushed stillness, a ghostly story unfolds. It begins in a sleepy town nestled among towering trees and mist-laden hills. The townsfolk spoke of a haunting melody that drifted through their streets, a melody that would chill even the bravest souls to their core. Legend had it that a young woman named Amelia had once lived in the town. She possessed an ethereal beauty and a voice that could enchant all who heard it. Her heart belonged to a talented musician named Samuel, and their love was the envy of the townsfolk. One fateful night, as Samuel played his melancholic melodies on his violin, tragedy struck. A fire engulfed their home, claiming both their lives. The townspeople mourned the loss of their beloved couple, but little did they know that their spirits lingered. Each night, as the clock struck midnight, the haunting melody would echo through the cobblestone streets. It whispered through the wind, carrying the sorrow and longing of Amelia and Samuel. The haunting notes seeped into the souls of those who dared to listen, leaving an indelible mark of melancholy. One particular night, a young woman named Lily, drawn by curiosity and a tinge of fear, decided to uncover the source of the ghostly melody. She ventured into the town, her steps light and her heart pounding in anticipation. As the clock struck midnight, the air turned heavy and the melody began its haunting lament. Lily followed the sound, winding through narrow alleys and deserted parks. The melody grew louder, leading her to an old, dilapidated theater. The doors creaked open, inviting her in with an otherworldly allure. Hesitant but determined, she stepped inside. The theater was draped in shadows, its grandeur faded by time. Lily tiptoed through the rows of empty seats, her eyes fixed on the stage, bathed in a pale moonlight glow. And there, standing in the center, were two translucent figures, their forms shimmering with an ethereal light, Amelia and Samuel. In perfect harmony, they sang their melancholic melody, their voices intertwining in a bittersweet symphony. Lily felt a mixture of sadness and awe as their song washed over her, seeping into her very being. It was a tale of love, loss, and the eternal bonds that surpassed the boundaries of life and death. As the song reached its crescendo, Amelia and Samuel turned towards Lily, their ghostly eyes filled with gratitude. With a final haunting note, they faded into the shadows, their souls finding solace in the music that had bound them together. Lily stood there, touched by the beauty of the encounter. From that night forward, the haunting melody never echoed through the town again. The spirits of Amelia and Samuel had found their peace, their love forever immortalized in the hearts of those who had heard their ghostly song. And so, the town rested, knowing that the spirits of the star-crossed lovers had finally found their eternal rest. But on certain nights, when the wind whispers through the trees and the moon casts an enchanting glow, if you listen closely, you might catch a faint echo of that haunting melody, a reminder of a love that transcends the boundaries of time and the realm of the living.